During the 20th century, Latin Americans struggled to gain social justice, cultural autonomy, and economic security through either adopting foreign ideologies or formulating indigenous responses. Despite the surface changes, Latin America remained relatively unchanged as old institutions adapted to new influencers, but there were significant alterations in social and economic matters. Over the following years, much of Latin America saw an upsurge of rural guerrilla conflict and urban terrorism in response to the persistence of stark social inequality and political repression. But this upsurge drew additional inspiration from the Cuban example, and in many cases, Cuba provided training and material support to guerrillas. The response of Latin American establishments was twofold and eagerly supported by the United States. Throughout the 20th century, most Latin American countries had a massive migration to urban cities during the 20th century, especially after the end of World War II. Lima was the principal destination during this rural exodus, but Trujillo and North Arequipa and the south also received large numbers of migrants. The lack of opportunity in rural regions was usually cited as a major reason for a movement to the cities, where migrants seeked better healthcare, educational opportunities, as well as jobs. Some migrants certainly did improve by a lot, but others ended up in city slums or in squatter settlements at the edges of the cities, where conditions may have been a little improved over those in the rural areas. Often the best hope for advancements has been in the squatter settlements at the edges of the cities, where residents gradually invested in improving houses over a period of decades. By the 1930s, liberalism concepts simply were not suited to Latin American economic and social reality, leading intellectuals to look into their own cultures for solutions and lost faith in Western democracy. Continued advances in public health led to an explosion of population growth, which in turn made the provision of other social services. By the 1980s, internal migration and movement between countries soared as individuals sought for work or basic freedoms. Latin America as a whole during the 20th century created more people becoming linked to their national and world economies, introducing to regenerate public education and exposed to emerging mass media.